Admirals. I'm your host, Markus Gabel, and I want to say good morning to my moderator in the back. Anna, thanks for opening the session. And good morning to everybody of you who spent your precious lifetime with me. You know, we only have this one life, and we should spend it as valuable as possible. And it's my job to make you happy with profitable trading, with trading ideas, with the motivation that you become successful in trading. This is my mission. And it's not a sprint, it's always a marathon. And we can run this marathon together. It's better than to run it alone, because alone, you feel lonely and you don't have someone to ask about your trade. And this is what we do in this morning briefing show, and especially here at Admirals with this interesting and very global project. So feel free to ask whatever is in your mind. I can see it on YouTube. Good morning to everybody, and here on Zoom as well. And we stream this Zoom session here live on YouTube as well. So if you watch it right now on YouTube, or maybe later as a recording, you'll find a button in your right corner. You can subscribe this channel of Admirals, so you will never miss an episode. And you can give us a like if you say, okay, the show is really cool. And if you want to leave a comment, you can do this in this commentary field below. And actually, let's talk live here on YouTube and on Zoom. And I'm really happy that we can do that together. So let me share my screen and fix the technical stuff so I can see your notes. And say good morning, Claudia. Good morning. And Claudie, it's, I guess, France, I guess. Diodon, wonderful, good morning. So, and now the participants too. Great. So guys, let's see what we can do. And today, the upcoming events for today, we expect at 11 German time, by the way, the unemployment rate in European Union, then the flash estimates, then the preliminary flash estimate GDP, and Canadian comes up with the GDP and employment cost index this afternoon. So we have a couple of events. They have indeed an effect to Dow Jones and to DAX maybe. So, we trade DAX in 10 minutes and the rest in hourly chart, Dow Jones, gold, oil, and Euro USD. So, and we will see what we can do there. So let me invite you to our afternoon show. Trading the 3-bar breakout is the main topic of this show this afternoon. It starts at 3 p.m. German time, by the way. So if you're interested in this, join it. Feel free to join it. And one of our partners will hold this webinar. Also, guys, if you want to follow Admirals, you can do that on Instagram. By the way, it's Admirals Global. And they have a lovely content, so you can learn a lot, by the way. And of course, the news here is everything you will find what you need for your own trading. It's on admiralmarkets.com/analytics here. And maybe, Anna, if you want, you can share the link. Maybe it's possible. It's a good idea. So you will find it here on everything about stocks and morning briefing, or wherever is interesting for you. So you can click on it and you get a lot of information which could be interesting for your own trading. So different things, economic comparison, by the way, if you're interested in such fundamental things. Okay. Let's go through the charts, and you see that's the DAX trade, and we want to make a little bit of review in this week today. So we started on Monday, and it was, as you can see in the DAX trade right now, it was a kind of non-event week. So we went down and up again with not really changing from the beginning of this week to maybe today. So we had, trades, some of the trades are ended in the in profit, a little bit in profit. Some of that we cut possible losses. So to be honest, it was a bit of zero game this week. So yesterday we stuck to the rules and we opened a position to speculate on a trend continuation here to the upper side. But the market decides to tonight to go deeper and stop us. We stopped out here with a small loss we calculated before. So now on the right side of the chart, you see in 10 minutes, the point of control is actually at 15,548 euros by one future contract. So, and I open a position because I stuck to the rules. So you see, it's 1, 2, 3, it's the fourth correction after the trend was valid. So it was allowed to open a trade again. So there was the balance candle this morning. Here was the balance candle. It was 8 o'clock, by the way, 7:50 to 8 o'clock. There was the balance candle. So I got in because, you know, a trend continuation is always more likely than a trend break. So I want to explain a little bit about trade management. You always have two options. So basically, you know, a trend continuation is always more likely than a trend break, which means we will have a close below the last point too. It doesn't matter if the trend will more continuing to the lower side or if they stop with a close above or in that case below the last point too. So you have two options to handle such a trade. So first option, you can set your stop loss like me at the last 0.3, by the way, and you can leave it there because there are only two options. Either the trend will break, then you get out, or the trend will continue, then the price goes deeper and then you are fine. So the other point is like I did it in the past, or sometimes I do it, that you can see when you have trend candles in your wrong direction. So you want to go short and you have trend candles in the long direction, then you can trail your stop above such trend candles and you can cut a possible loss. Like I told you, if you realize you're on the wrong bus, get out, take the next bus. But this is a kind of, it's just on you. So this is a kind of trade management that's not rules. It's just a kind of logical way of thinking. But both kind of trade managements are really fine. You can set your stop loss. You can adjust your stop loss at the 0.3 and can accept the result. Then in that case, you should reduce your money you invest because, you know, then you have a little bit bigger loss. If you decide to cut the possible loss, if you realize you're on the wrong bus, then you can risk a bit more because you trail the stop faster than in a normal way. So you can risk a bit more because, you know, if you're on the wrong bus, you get out and you have maybe 25% of your normal risk. But this is just on you. That's not rules, guys. Okay, we only have rules for our entry, but we never have rules for a trade management. We had just like a red beacon in trading, and this must be the plan. So it's important that you have a complete red beacon for your trading or in every single trade or kind of plan. So the plan must be fixed before you start the trade. This is really important because a lot of traders, for example, yesterday called me one coaching client. Oh, Markus, I'm so confused right now. I don't know what I have to do because I bought AMD and they exploded yesterday and I'm so big in profit. Oh my God, what should I do? Yes. So the guy asked me, and you see people are getting crazy, not when they're in loss, just only when they're in profit. So therefore, you should every time you should need a plan. How do you want to trail your stop? How you manage it? It's just a plan, a trading plan. And it's depending of the single trade. The trade management, which would work in this trade, must not work in the next trade. It's depending from where we are, where's the point of control, where is your target, all that stuff. This is important. So where is your first target? Do you work with the target? Or do you work all the time with full position? So it's not rules that you must make partial profits. Just I do it because I feel better. And to make profit, it's not forbidden. So therefore, in my logical way of thinking, it's a cool thing if we reach the probability, and reaching the point 2 is like hitting the probability, because the probability, the strategy says from the correction to the last point 2. Doesn't matter if you go up or short, long or short. So if you reach the point 2, then you fulfill the probability, the strategy. It says nothing about the result of the final trade. So therefore, logical way of thinking, partial profits at the point 2. And if you trail your stop loss then in profit, or maybe trail your stop loss a bit, or you close the trade when you see it doesn't work anymore, it doesn't go deeper, so it's fine. It's just a trade management. There doesn't exist any rules, just rules for the entry. So you see, actually, I didn't trail my stop loss because I have a smaller risk in this trade, because I'm in the 4th trend arm right now. I'm within the red zone. So, but I see in this trade, I decided to leave the stop loss at the last 0.3, because the point of control is in this case a lack of resist, so more people, more sellers are getting in the market here. So I don't know what happens in the next minutes, and I don't care about that, because I only can work with probabilities, and I can handle this without emotions if I have a proper money management. Okay, so this is about the DAX trade. And then the rest of the week, we have a little bit plus, a little bit minus. So it was more or less a zero game. So let's have a look at the other trades. And let's have a look at the hourly chart first. And we start with a quick look at the gold price. And here we go in the hourly chart. So, we in gold, we had at least, in this case, if you made it differently to me, then you had here this entry. So where is let me show you. Here we go. So there we had an entry. And if you made it a little bit differently to me, then you had at the last 0.2, you had a partial profit, and then you trailed the stop into profit, and it was a nice winner. So the second one was a small loser, and the third one, it was a winner. So in that case, we sold half the position, trailed the stop into profit, and that's what the best idea ever, because now you see where we are right now. So in gold, actually, we have a trend, an uptrend right now, and it starts at the lowest. It starts at the lowest point. It's a little bit tricky, because if we start there, if you do this and this and this, then let's see. No, there was no trend break. Okay, so this is our trend. That's the trend, deepest point, no trend break. It looks like a little bit crazy, but it is technically correct. So now we have this big move. We have this big move, and now we are in a correction, but we need 38% at least that we can open a trade there. Even we are in the red zone, So maybe you ask why we didn't open a trade there. It was Wednesday here, and here we had the rate decision of the Federal Reserve. So I don't open trades in that minutes. So it's too difficult. Next time, you can realize the price is going down, and then it's not a good idea to open trades or to trade during the Fed minutes, not in my opinion. So I have no problem because just a young trend and we have enough space. But first of all, I have to stick to rules. That's my most important thing, what we have to do as a private trader, by the way. So then let's go to Dow Jones. And in Dow Jones, we have still this uptrend here. That's still the uptrend. Move, correction, move, correction. That's the trend. And you see it's an old trend, by the way. It's a really old trend. So there was no trend continuation there. So which means we are still in the correction. And by the way, we don't have a downtrend right now. That's the first move. And there is no trend continuation there. Actually, there's no close. So this is just not really a trend. If we will have a close below the last point 2 here, then we can speculate on the next correction, and then maybe we can go short because we come from actually from the green zone, and you know, final target is always the point of control, which in hourly chart is actually placed $34,584 by one future contract. Okay, next one is just crude oil. Crude oil is also really strong. So we realized we had a trend break there. There was a trend break. So we had to start from new one with move, correction. It's just, there was another trend continuation there. So which means that's a correction, a move correction. And now we are in the 1 to 3rd correction, or if you start after we had a valid trend, a second correction, which means here, guys, that's our chance to open a trade new to go up here. So I have oil on my watch list to go long as soon as we have a balanced candle, or maybe the color changed in Heikin-Ashi, and then you can open a trade. At least 0.2 is a target. Yeah, and then let it run, in my opinion. And last but not least is Euro US dollar. Yeah, also a strong trend. You know, there was our profitable trade this week. We made it fine, you know. Therefore, you see, and the moment you fulfill and you see and you reach point number 2, then it's a good idea, you know, probabilities. And then I trailed my stop into profit, and you see where the price is right now. So it was a good idea. So how is the situation on the right side of the chart right now? So which means we have an uptrend. I guess everybody can see that. So we start at the lowest point. Lowest point is here with move, correction. So let's see, next move here. So is there a trend continuation? Yes, there is a trend continuation, which means we have to do this, or maybe this one, there is the deepest point. So which means there was another trend break here. So we have to start from new at the lowest point again. So move, correction, let's see, move, correction, move, correction, move, correction, and now we are in a move. But you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th correction right now. Yeah, or maybe if you miss this, then it's the 4th correction. So I'm still waiting that we see how should I say, a correction deeper than at least 38%. So maybe at the point of low or a bit deeper, then we can go long again. So at the moment, the correction, yeah, is kind of hanging in the air right now, and we don't have a close deeper than 38%. So therefore, I don't trade that, because in that case, I have to confess, I have to speculate after such a big move and a small correction they will go up a bit, and then we see a bigger correction. This is what I experienced in the last 22 years. It's always the same, and maybe you can see that maybe there is maybe there can occur a kind of divergence. You see a higher high, but maybe then a higher low. So, and that means that we see a bigger correction in the next time. And believe me, we will have a next chance to go long and go back to the point of control. So that was our 4 main trades or main underlyings we trade in hourly chart, in day trading, by the way. And the point of control in hourly chart in Euro USD is up, is really far away at 121.79. So therefore, we have a lot of space to go up. We don't have to jump in immediately, wait for the rules. We will get a chance. Okay, we will get a chance. So be patient with that and stick to the rules all the time. Okay, so let's go through our running trades, and we start with Australian dollar, Swiss franc. And here we go in 4 hourly charts, by the way. So point of control in Australian dollar, Swiss franc is down here at 0.66400. And there is my final target. And you see, we are really close to reach this target too. Another very, very profitable trade. And you see, we need this trades, these long running trades to keep in balance the other losers. Actually, there's nothing to do. So you see my stop loss is a bit higher at a higher 0.3. So if you feel a bit better, it's fine that you say, okay, I try my stop to this 0.3 or this 0.3. That's really fine. So it's just on you in 4 hourly chart. That's not a stressful trading. You can check it every 4 hours. And finally, I'm quite sure that we reach the point of control. So I don't have stress, nothing to do. Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. Yeah, we're still circling around the point of the entry here. And you see the point of control is quite far away down at 0.6904. And the trend is still valid. Trend is still valid here, you see. And we entered here the market, the price. Yeah, and we're circling around the entry, so there is for the moment nothing to do. And in this case, I will leave my trade at the last 0.3 because there is the point of high as a kind of resist. It could be possible, could be. It's not my restriction. It's just could be possible that more sellers come into that, because when we test this line from the lower side, and you know, that's exactly the border, the edge between unfair and fair price. So this is a really interesting line, not just a line, it's a price area where a lot of sellers or buyers could wait. So therefore, first of all, we have 2 guarantees on our side. 2. The first guarantee is either we see a trend continuation or we see a trend break. 2 things can happen. And if you want, we saw a trend continuation, and you can trail your stop if you want, but that's not the real 0.3. The real 0.3 is here where I have my stop loss. If you will see a trend continuation here at the last 0.2, that's the last 0.2, and if we see a trend continuation there, then we can trail the stop here to the last 0.3. That's the last 0.3. This is just a 0.3 with a question mark, because we can. That's not a trend continuation right now. So this could happen also. Yeah, I don't know. So therefore, I don't intervene and I let it go for the moment. So point of control, as I mentioned, please listen to me a little bit more carefully. It's about 0.69. So Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, point of control is quite far away. It's lower at 81.25. The trend is still valid. The real 0.3 at the moment is here. Real 0.3 is there. So if you want, you can trail your stop to list 0.3 because this is the trend. That's the trend we are trading right now. And you know, that's the final target. Yeah, and by the way, we sold already half the position there. And if you want, you can trail your stop because the trend will break at this point 3. So I'm more that guy. I work with a kind of mental stop, and you see I have an alert there. So I only react with a close above the last point 3, then I can trail my stop loss. Euro Australian dollar. Nice behavior. Another proof that the trend continuation is more likely than a break. In Australia, in Euro Australian dollar, we have a point of control down at 157.48. And we are trading away from the point of control at the moment. But, you know, the price is not a part of the rules. It's just a kind of orientation that I have to be a little bit more carefully if I trade away from the point of control, because my price is getting more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. So where is the target? To be honest, I don't have a target because I sold already half in position. I'm fine with that trade. And I have learned in my trading career not to interpret, not to restrict myself in thinking and in trading, by the way. So a trend is always possible to run longer than you can imagine. So, you know, most of the people's, and there is an interesting, that's an interesting indicator. It's it's so-called sentiment trader. So, and the sentiment trader, it's in MetaTrader 5 also, and here, sentiment trader. And then you can see, here we go. Here. So you can set the symbols and you say Euro Australian dollar. So, and then you see, oh my gosh, yeah, 86% are on the selling side. And what is the price doing? Oh, let me ask you 2 questions. First of all, in a logical way, if you have 86% of sellers and just only 14% of buyers, in a normal way, what must be happen with the price? If you have more sellers than buyers, what should happen in a logical way with the price? Going up or down? What do you think? Just going up or down? If you think logically and you have more sellers than buyers, what should happen with the price? Correct. It should go down. So what can you see on the right side of the chart? Is the price going up or down? What do you see? Is it going up or down? Of course, it's going up. So you see, interestingly, right? It's not the number of the percent. It's the volume which is responsible if a price is increasing or decreasing. It's the volume, not the number of the percent. And this is a kind of contra-indicator. That's really interesting. And if you see, oh, most of the private traders, and you know, unfortunately, 80–90% of all traders are losing money on the long run because they don't understand what we are doing here. They're always on the wrong side. Why? Why are 86% on the selling side? Human behavior. Restrictions in your mind. One of the most famous sentences ever: the price cannot go higher. And maybe you know that sentence because I used it so often in my past until my teacher taught me, how do you know that the price cannot go higher? And my answer at that time was, I cannot imagine. He said, yes, that's your problem. It's just your imaginations, not the imagination of the market. The price can always go higher or lower than you can ever imagine in your mind. So therefore, let it go. And this is an interesting thing. As long as most of the private traders are short, the price will going up. That's a promise. That's a guarantee. That's absolute guarantee. And only if you see, okay, then the number is going lower, then maybe it's time to trail the stop. It's just an interesting indicator you can use as a kind of contra indicator. And you know, I want to train you to become a logical thinking trader, not driven by emotions, driven by logical thinking. And we must be the exception. And all successful traders are the exceptions. We have no restrictions in your mind. We stick to the rules all the time. We have a plan before we start the trade, and we stick to our plan. This is what an exceptional trader is doing, and not something else are working against the trend. Yeah, that's not the best thing. Yeah. So let's go through the rest. So here we go. Next one we are still running is Euro New Zealand dollar. Yeah, we still in profit. Trade is still running, as you can see here. Point of control is here at 1.6920. So that's actually my trend. This is my trend, movement, correction, move, correction. So that was the first shot. We reached point 2. Here is the point 2. So we made partial profits. With the rest, we got stopped out. And now we are still calculating and still speculating on trend continuation. Therefore, we have the duty to open the trade again. So the moment we will reach point 2 or the same, then I will make partial profits and trail the stop also in profit and land. Let's go. So then US dollar, Canadian dollar. Still running. You know, we made partial profits already. Yeah, and my trend, to be honest, my trend is still running. My trend is still running because we started here, movement correction. That was my trend, big move, correction. So that's actually my trend. And you see, that's the point 3. And therefore, there is my stop loss because I made partial profits. I'm quite safe in that. So, and what we should do, nothing. Just let it go. So you realize for the moment, okay, there is a secondary trend which is facing downwards. And if this price comes up and move and turns and fulfill the rules, and if you are not in a long trade, you can open a position to speculate that we reached a point 2 in this downtrend. And then everything's fine. Then you make money and you fulfill the probability. That's completely fine. Or maybe in MetaTrade, it's allowed to make a hedge trade. It's also allowed that you leave the main trend, you leave the main position, and you can speculate that with this short trend, it's kind of correction of the main trend. You can make also money. It's completely fine. Just a kind of working style. Yeah, because every single trend has its own probability. Yes, you can do that if you want. And the point of control in US dollar, Canadian dollar is still up here at 131 here in MetaTrader. In the futures, it's a bit lower. Therefore, we reached already point of control, but in MetaTrader, point of control is still a little bit above. So nothing to do for the moment. So that's the last one we have running. So, and we have other trades. And before we come to the trading ideas for this, for today, Anna, if you want and you're ready, we can open the question of the day. And you know, I asked you on Monday, what kind of rules or what kind of goals do you have this week? So, and I promise you, I will ask you today if you reached your own goals today. So the question of the day is, have you reached your own goals this week? You know, the question was more discipline, more, what was it? Yeah, stick to the rules. Yeah, and so you set your own goals, by the way. So have you reached your own goals this week? So we keep it a little bit open. You can decide in very quietly and be honest to yourself. The more honestly you are to yourself, the better it is. Don't lie to yourself. That makes no sense. It's not senseful. So on my watch list is US dollar, Japanese yen. Oh, we are in. Sorry, US dollar, we are in. I have to, where is it? I'll have to put it up here. So that's the trend. You know, point of control in US dollar, Japanese yen is down at 105.433. So, and that's our trend. That's the trend. Move, correction, move, correction. So we did the first time a small profitable trade. A second one again, it was a zero game. And now we are in the third correction. So therefore we open the trade again. So there was the balance candle here. So we opened a little bit deeper and everything's fine. So actually we are circling around the point of control. The entry. And you know, we are speculating on a trend continuation. Maybe this could be a reachable point 0.2, of course, and then point of low. So therefore, I set my stop loss here above the last 0.3. And for the moment, I will leave it there because only two things can happen. First option, we will break the trend or we'll continue the trend. Only these two things can happen. And in case that our point of control is quite far away, I'm kind of quite sure. Oh, just a moment. I have to go to my DAX right now. Ah, nice. We made money, by the way, guys. So sorry, I have to jump in because I saw it in my Gina trader, the price is going down. So now let it go. Okay, so we made partial profits and now we are fine. Yeah, I guess the price is going deeper and then we can trail the stop to the last 0.3. Yeah, let it go. Fine. Trend continuation, guys. Trend continuation. Yeah. So, what's up here? Euro British pound on my watch list. So you can check it here in Euro British pound if you want. How is the, oh my gosh, 87% are on the buyer's side. Guys, you know what will happen with the price next? Can promise you, price is going deeper. That's really fine. That's really, really cool. You will say that's a contra indicator, unfortunately. And I hope you realize what kind of chance do you have with this Admirals morning briefing show. That we can teach, also Jens and Paul too, that we can teach you to be the exception. Because those 87% are not the exception. They work in a human and emotionally, Jesus Christ, wait, I have to stop, guys. The time is running by, sorry. No trading ideas. So British pound, US dollar, we are waiting for the correction. Why is the time running so fast all the time, guys? I don't understand. So here too, actually no trading ideas. If I have a trading idea, then I will come up with it on Twitter and you can follow me there. Okay, guys, have you reached your own goals this week? 47% says, yes, I have. 40% says, no, I haven't. And 13% says, I had no set specific goals. Unfortunately, time is running out and I'm delayed again. Sorry for that. So I will talk about to you next week about this special topics. No, I guess I cannot enlarge from 30 to 45 minutes because then Admirals will kick me out. I guess that's too long. Guys, thank you for listening. I'm really happy to have you here in the show. And maybe we'll see each other in the live trading room or another spot. I wish you a wonderful Friday, a lovely, lovely weekend, far away from any kind of trades. And we will see each other hopefully next week on Monday again. Thanks to Anna. You too, a nice weekend. And as always, let's have courage and be kind